Good morning, students. Welcome back to History Lecture. Today, we are going to do the revision of Political Science, Chapter number 1, Working of the Constitution. As I have already taught you this lesson, today we will do the revision of this lesson and we are going to see the important points of this lesson. What we have learned in this lesson? The Constitution of India has came into force on 26 January 1950 with an objective to establish a secular, democratic and republic. This chapter primarily discusses what important changes have taken place in three areas: democracy, social justice and judiciary. So in this chapter we studied that this chapter talks about the important changes took place in the following areas, that is democracy, social justice and judiciary. Now let's move to the first area, that is democracy. In democracy we studied the 4 points, that is political maturity, a right to vote, decentralization of democracy and right to information, that is RTI 2005, which is very important. So let's start with the political maturity. What we learn in political maturity? According to the principle of constitution, the Indian people have direct representation in the parliament, state legislature and the local government, as we all are choosing a representative and we are sending them directly to the parliament, state legislature and at the local government level. The increasing participation of the people in the political process shows that Indian democracy has become successful to the great extent. As we have seen, the many people they are participating in the politics, and through that we come to know that Indian democracy has becoming successful. Then we studied about right to vote. After the independence, the Indian Constitution guaranteed adult suffrage by giving the right to vote equally to both men and women above the age of 21 years. So, after independence, the both men and women they got the chance to vote. But the one who has completed the 21 years, only those people they get the chance to vote. But later, the voting age was reduced from 21 to the 18 years, which gave opportunity of political participation to the younger generation of India. And because of that, when the age of voter is reduced to 18 years, that time the younger generation they started participating in politics. This change is not only quantitative but also qualitative, as new political parties are emerging with the active support of young voters. So, whatever change happened, that the age gap was reduced from 21 to 18, because of that, it is not only the quantitative but it is a qualitative change. The quality was change or quality was improved. Next is decentralization of democracy. This is important as it controls the misuse of power and also creates opportunities for the participation of common people. And because of this decentralization of power, it was easy to control the misuse of power and also it creates opportunities for the common people. After the independence, several attempts have been made towards the democratic decentralization. For example, 73rd and 74th Amendment to the Constitution, which gave a constitutional status to the local governing institution, that also increased their power. So, in the 73rd and 74th Amendment, means whatever changes happen in the Constitution, it gave status to the local self-governing institution like Gram Panchayat, Panchayat Samiti. and also increase their power. Next is right to information, that is RTI 2005, which is very important. After the year 2000, the whole approach towards a democratic reform has changed, which have now becomes right of citizen. Right to Information 2005 has made the government more transparent and has reduced the element of secrecy in its working. And because of this right to information, there was more transparency in the work of the government, as the government were answerable to the people and there was no secrecy in its working pattern. Citizens in India have also been guaranteed a right to education, right to food security. These rights have strengthened democracy in India, and because of this also got the right of education, right of food security. So the Indian government gave the right to information to the citizen of India to ensure transparency and accountability, which are the hallmarks of good governance. Now we are going to see the second area where important changes have taken place. And the second area is social justice and equality. Social justice and equality are the important objective of our constitution. The principle of social justice and equality aim at ending discrimination on the basis of caste, religion, language, and gender, place of birth, race, property, and giving equal opportunities for the development to every individual. So, because of social justice and equality, they try to end the discrimination on the basis of the following, like caste, religion, then on the basis of language, gender, place of birth, property, and they try to give equal opportunities for the development of every individual. And for that, our government had made some efforts by establishing social justice and equalities. And what are the efforts they have taken? The first one is policy of reservation of seats. So they kept few seats reserved for the people of backward class and OBC, ST, SC classes. This is mean for those section of society who have been deprived of the opportunities for the education and employment for a long time. So the backward class people or the deprived class people, they were deprived of the opportunities of education and employment for the long time, and seats are kept reserved for SC and ST and backward classes in education institution and in government services. And that is why our government is making some efforts. They are keeping some seats reserved for the backward class people, that is SC, ST, OBC, in education institution also and in government services also. So they will also get a chance of education and the employment. Second one is the Scheduled Caste and the Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act. This act prevents any injustice against the people belonging to SC and ST and any act of atrocity. Atrocity means cruel or inhuman behavior against them is liable for punishment. So according to this act, if any people, if they are harassing or they are making fun of the people belonging to the SC, ST class people, then they are liable for the punishment. And that is why our government has made this Prevention of Atrocities Act. So the dignity of these people will be protected. Now the third provision our government is made for the provision for the minorities. As we all know, there are many communities, those are in minorities in India. For example, Christianity, Muslim, then Parsi. So all those communities are in minority because their population is less compared to the other community. So the government is also making efforts to provision for the minorities people. The Indian Constitution has made several provisions for the fundamentally protecting the right to equality, freedom, right against exploitation, and cultural and educational rights of the minorities. So, the Indian government is taking and protecting the right of equality and the freedom and cultural and educational rights of the minority. Now, the fourth one is laws related to women and provision for the presentation. Even the government is making some laws for the provision of women. In the post-independent period, several laws have been made for the empowering women, removing illiteracy among them, means giving them education and providing opportunities for their development. The right to have an equal share in father's and husband property. Even they have a right to have a equal share in father and the husband property. So in the father's property, both boy and girl will have a equal share. Dowry Prohibition Act, Act Against Sexual Harassment, Domestic Violence Prohibition Act. If in home, if the woman is getting harassed, if they are being beaten, then Domestic Violence Prohibition Act is there to protect them. Are some important provisions for the protection and the security of women. To increase the representation of women in political process, 50% seats are now reserved for women in local governing institutions. As in India, there are 33% seats are reserved, but there are few states where 50% seats are reserved for women in local self-governing institutions. For example, Maharashtra. In Maharashtra, there are 50% seats are reserved for women. Now the third area is role of judiciary. The judiciary has played an important role in strengthening the democracy. While interpreting the constitution, the judiciary have always taken into consideration the fundamental objectives of constitution and also the intentions of constitution makers in the following ways. Now, which are those two ways? The first one is the basic framework of constitution and the second one is significant judicial decision. So first we are going to see the basic framework of the constitution. Our constitution is dynamic. Dynamics means changing. It is a living document. So it is a living document as it is a changing. Okay, and it is not a non-living document. It is a living document. Then the judiciary has accepted the fact that the constitution has to change according to the changing times and that the parliament has the power to make changes, but at the same time the judiciary has taken a stand that the parliament while amending means the changing the constitution cannot alter the basic structure of constitution. So what the judiciary is telling that what they accepted the fact that constitution has to change according to the changing time, but the parliament has the power to make the changes in the constitution. The parliament is having a right to make the changes in the constitution, but when they are making the changes in the constitution, that time they should not alter the basic structure of constitution. So they should not put any harm to the basic structure of constitution. Now let's see what is the basic structure of constitution. The basic structure of constitution generally includes following provision: republican and democratic form of government, then federal structure of government, third promotion of unity and integrity of the nation. Fourth one, sovereignty of the nation. Fifth one, secularism and supremacy of the constitution. So this is the provision or the basic structure of the constitution. So whenever the parliament is making any changes in the constitution, that time they should not put any harm to the basic structure of the constitution. Second one is significant judicial decision. Some of the important subjects on which the judge has given judgment include right of children, protection of human rights, protection of the honor and the dignity of women, and individual freedom and tribal empowerment. So on that the judicial has given its judgment. So these are very important. Now, this is very important to understand. Democracy requires a good governance for the best governing practice. So, in this chapter, we took a review of the Constitution and the working of the government on the basis of the Constitution. In the context of Indian democracy, there are many challenges before India's democracy. Government acts and policies have put an end to all the problems. There are several new problems confronting us. However, what is important is that the people in India have developed a democratic mindset. So, that's all about the first chapter. Students, as I have taught this lesson already, today only we have done the revision of important points of this lesson. Okay, now I want everyone to move to the page number 74. Question number 1, filling the blanks. First one, in Maharashtra, that seats are reserved for women in local self-governing institutions. So how many percent seats are reserved in Maharashtra for women? 50%. Very good. Which of the following laws created a favorable environment for women to secure freedom and self-development? So which law? Right to Information Act, Dowry Prohibition Act, Food Security, none of the above. Second one, yes, Dowry Prohibition Act. The essence of democracy is decentralization of power. Now move to the question number 2. State whether the following statements are true or false. Give reason for your answer. So first you are going to tell whether that statement is true or false, and afterwards you are going to give the reason for the statement. The first question is, Indian democracy is considered the largest democracy in the world. So this is the correct answer, true. So the above statement is true. The people elect their representative and their representative have power of making final decision. Elections are held in free and fair surroundings. Adult franchises is accepted. Every vote is considered to be very important. Fundamental rights and freedom of people are taken special care of as well as protected. Also, India has the largest number of voters compared to any other democratic nation. Second question, secrecy is the working of government has increased due to the right to information. So the above statement is false. Citizens have a right to know about the working and the activities of the India government. The government of India gave right to information to the citizen of India to ensure the transparency and accountability, which are hallmark of a good governance. Thus, right to information has made the government more transparent and has reduced the element of secrecy in the working of government. Third one, the nature of constitution is seen as a living document. So above statement is true. The constitution has given the guideline to establish a new society based on these two values. Which are those two values? The social justice and equality. And therefore our constitution has laid the path to achieve its goal. So here I have given my points. You can add your own points also for the reason for the statement. Next question, question number 3, write short notes on provisions regarding minorities. So there are several provisions for the protection of minorities have been made in Indian Constitution. According to the government has adopted several policies for minorities to give opportunities like education and employment facilities. This is comprehensive provision for the minorities which fundamentally protects their rights to equality, freedom, right against the exploitation and cultural and educational right, etc. You can add your own points also. Next one, policy of reservation of seats. Policy of reservation of seats is meant for those section of society who are deprived of opportunities like education and employment for many years. Accordingly, some seats are reserved for scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, other backward classes in educational institution and in government services also. Even other backward classes have seats reserved for them. The 73rd and the 74th Amendment reserve 33% of seats for women in local self-governing institution. In several states like Maharashtra, this percentage has been raised to the 50%. Next, third one, women representation in the Lok Sabha. In the post-independence period, the efforts were made for the empowering women. And from the very beginning, women have had less representation in politics and the political institution. As many countries in the world, they have made efforts to increase the representation of women. India has also made efforts in the 73rd and 74th Amendment, whereas 33% seats are reserved for women. In several states including Maharashtra, they have raised to the 50%. And in the first general election in India, after independence, only 22 women's representatives were elected to Lok Sabha, and the 16th general election, there were 66 women representatives, that is 12.15%. Next, question number 4. Explain the following concept. First one is right-based approach. You will get that answer on page number 70. In the decades after independence, progress was made towards more and more democratization of India. However, in this process, citizens were considered as beneficiaries. In the last few decades, development is considered as the right of citizen. A right-based approach is the clear understanding of difference between the right and a need. A right-based approach is the outcome of development. So, this is your answer. You can write your own points also. Next question, right to information, that is RTI. This is very important. Citizen empowerment is essential condition of democracy. It is necessary to create opportunities for the citizen participation and interaction with the government. Increased communication between citizens and the government help in strengthening democracy and in building a relationship of a trust between them. Citizens have a right to know about functioning of government. The government of India gave the right to information to the citizen of India to ensure the transparency and accountability, which are the hallmark of a good government. The right to information has made the government more transparent and has reduced the element of secrecy in the working of the government. So this is your answer. Again, you will get this answer on page number 70. Next, question number 5. Answer the following question. What are the efforts of reducing the voting age from 21 years to the 18 years? Reducing the voting age from 21 years to the 18 years has given opportunity of political participation to the young generation in India. This change is not only quantitative but also qualitative, as there is active participation of young voters. Such provisions have made India the largest democracy in the world. New political parties are emerging with the active participation of these young voters, and these parties represent the different expectation of people and at the same time lead to the further competition in political sphere. So this answer you will get on page number 69. Next, question number 2, what is meant by establishment of social justice? So move to the page number 70. Establishment of social justice is to remove those social conditions which are responsible for injustice and insist on equality of dignity of all individual. And this is your answer. Next question, question number 3. Which decision of court has resulted in protection of honor and dignity of women? The court has taken decision on various subjects related to the protection of honor and dignity of women, for example, subject related to the domestic violence and dowry. So this will be your answer. So here is the end of our first lesson revision.